A young bear lay innocently beside a pile of explosives, even picking one up in its paw as if it were a toy. Not far away, a human pressed a remote detonator. One by one, the explosives began to ignite. Seeing the imminent danger, the mother bear rushed over at full speed, swatting the explosive away with her paw and shielding her cub with her own body. Although the explosives were no longer directly beside them, the blast was tremendously powerful. Chunks of ice split apart, and the ground shook violently. The mother bear, clutching her cub, desperately tried to flee, but a massive block of solid ice trapped her, rendering her immobile. Not far away, another explosive started to flicker. Despite using all her strength, the mother couldn't push the ice away. Gazing at her beloved cub, she held him close one last time. Just before the explosion, she mustered all her remaining strength and flung him to safety. After the deafening blast, the mother was gone. The cub would never again feel the warmth of her embrace. From that day on, he would have to survive on his own. In the freezing snow and ice, the cub fell into a deep slumber. Fortunately, a beam of light appeared. A human had spotted him. A little girl rescued him and named him Bacon. As Bacon grew older, he spent his days working at a zoo, clocking in like any employee. Whenever faced with a challenge, he would break into his signature belly dance, and with a single thrust of his belly, he could send a soda can flying right back where it came from. When tired, he would return to his room, munch on a couple of fries, and head over to a special snack vending machine. Inserting a 5-cent coin, he would give it a twist only to reveal a password lock. After quickly entering his birth date, an infrared scanner would appear. But each time it scanned Bacon, it emitted a verification failed warning. Annoyed by the tedious process of getting a drink, an exasperated Bacon kicked the machine. Surprisingly, the machine turned out to be a pushover. It promptly coughed up a bottle of cola. Bacon quickly took a swig, then spat it out in disgust. The machine, recognizing that familiar flavor, finally unlocked its door. But what lay behind that high-tech entrance? Was Bacon a secret agent? Not at all, he was merely the janitor there. Trying his best to do a good job, he once accidentally tackled what turned out to be the director, who happened to be suffering from a bad stomach. The director rushed into the restroom in a panic, while Bacon hurriedly tried to clean up the mess. He picked up what looked like an ordinary pan and casually tossed it aside only for it to bounce right back into the restroom. A moment later, an explosion was followed by a pained scream. Rushing in, Bacon found the director with flames shooting from his head. Grabbing a broom, Bacon frantically beat out the fire, finally extinguishing it with a well-aimed spray of saliva. But how would the director react to Bacon now? His fury was enough to make the whole building tremble. That evening, the girl comforted Bacon and made his favorite donuts, but he remained downcast. Then, one day, a strange explosive orb descended from the sky, releasing countless smaller orbs that detonated on contact. Soon, streets and alleys were filled with these volatile spheres, leaving everyone terrified. Through news reports, people learned this was a global crisis. Everything seemed to grind to a standstill. Then, the chief received a video call from a polar bear. It turned out this entire situation was the doing of polar bears, led by one wearing a high-tech helmet. Their goal was to collect all the world's diamonds, threatening to detonate their bombs if their demands weren't met. But the chief wasn't about to yield to such threats.